Yeah, we're gonna get copyright strike.
Like, okay, you're arrested.
Yeah, dude, it looks good.
Oh, I'm pumped.
It looks good.
You'll be sort of up there. Oh,
Yeah.
proud, dude.
Yeah, man.
All right.
We're live on YouTube.
On YouTube. Oh, there you go.
Change the title.
It's unfortunate that they don't do Instagram as well.
Yeah, I know, right? So, all right, cool. Thank you, our one current viewer for joining. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. I'm here with Chris, and we are showing off our CALYPSO builds. In fact, I got to power mine on too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So this is, I have like the most janky way of powering it on. Yeah. Cool. Come on.
Did it for a second.
You did it for a second.
There you go.
Cool.
Sick.
Yeah. Sniff, what's up, dude? Thanks for stopping by. So I'm here with Tophmods, and we're showing off our new CALYPSO builds. And I'm personally real excited about that.
Dude, I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped. I honestly don't think I could be happier with the build process and the way it turned out.
Yeah.
For the night I had to do it.
I think what's cool about CALYPSO specifically is how easy it is to create a really cool build.
The toughest time I had, honestly, was deciding what way I wanted to build it, because there's like so many different configurations you could do. I had a hard time. All right, do I want it this way?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want it, up and down?
Yeah.
But I settled on this, and the cool thing about this build is I can actually just flip it if I want to, and it'll work. So
that is a really cool aspect of it. The ability to kind of like midway through building, like realize that there's another opportunity for you to do something with it.
Yeah, no, it makes it fun, a real fun process, and it's super easy to build in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the amount of different configurations was the thing I had the most trouble with. I'm indecisive, and when you give me so many options, it gets to me.
I like when I'm building, my preferred way of doing it is I normally take the chassis and I start sort of mocking up where that I want the components to go, and it's a really fluid process because I'm normally like, I know some people like planning out their builds like 100% before they go at it.
I like to try to do that.
Well, the keyword
but it never happens.
Yeah. It's always better if you can make it happen like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's always, very real world constraints to the.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, I had an idea in my head and I was like, oh, that'll totally work. And then it was actually the fault of this GPU block here. They put the holes for the water cooling lines so close together, way closer than I'd like, but the design of the card.
And what block is that?
That's the 3080 Founders Edition Special Edition card from EK, block from EK.
Oh, okay. All right, maybe.
So it was actually really cool. So I had it configured. This block actually comes with two different port things. So you can have them going this way or that way, or there's a block that you can put on with them going up.
Really?
Or to the side.
Why have I never heard of this? I mean, I don't know.
It's pretty cool. So halfway through the build, I had my tubing runs, and then I went to go do the last run, and I was like, oh, actually the fitting doesn't fit. So I moved it to go this way and made it work. So
and that happens all the time when you're building, right? Like there's I talk about like the fluidity of the building process, right? At the end of the day, we just want something that is close enough to our starting vision.
For sure, definitely.
And it's really about the opportunities when you're building on a chassis, right? Like the cool part about Calypso, the cool part about Atlas is that when you're building on it, there's always another avenue you can go down. You're
Oh, for sure.
You're really often you're not cornered somewhere in that you have to do something this way.
No, it's what your imagination wants, basically, which is awesome. You know, like I said, it's the many different points you could put the radiator, which, you know, I didn't utilize the extra bracket that I had the opportunity to. But,
the auxiliary bracket.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing that, but then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to do that. So, and I want to kind of to show off the face and the inside of the build. So
let me go get I want to get that auxiliary bracket so you can show everyone. This is the auxiliary bracket with a 360 millimeter EK 45 millimeter.
So my fans are in the way, but it would sit back slightly more in and mount like that.
Okay.
But
and
my
think
fans are blocking.
Yeah. So there's using the auxiliary.
The fans on top as well. You could easily do it. You would just need to bracket in first and then screw through, and probably just put, you know, 1/8 inch or not even
or
little
3/32, you know,
little spacers, which, you know, you can easily acquire.
And maybe that's something that I need to have on the website too. You know, that's probably
or just add in with the bracket maybe. If people decide to get the bracket, then, you know, all right, there's a mounting.
Yeah.
You know,
great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea.
And those are cheap. So.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. No, we can get those.
You can get those easily. They're just small spacers.
I love, like, the auxiliary bracket is one of those.
You can also mount it this way if you had a 240.
Or you could even mount it with a 360. It's just that's going to stick out more on one side.
True. Yeah, just mount the bracket on that fan right there.
You know, in fact, if you want to be real crazy with it, you know, you could use a Ford. What is this? A Ford?
A really, really big.
Chat. What is the actual size of this one? I think this is actually a 140. So 140 times 3. Let's do math for Eric. So you could go. If that's.
Yeah, you know, if you want to.
You know, I mean, if that's what you're into, you know, then why not?
Just get a more at that point.
Yeah.
Which is super easy to do with the pass-throughs that are the four pass-throughs that are in the case, which I utilized as well as I think you did as well.
I did. I used the pass-through at the bottom.
That really saved my ass. It was a really, really cool thing because it allowed me to mount this pump on the back of the case, which was awesome.
Again, like, you know, the open cases, Calypso and Atlas, they're designed in order to give people options when you're building, right? I don't want to set the constraints of the case for you. I want you to set the constraints that you want, and then you work around those yourself.
Yeah.
So if you say, I want it in this orientation, you know, then build it in that orientation, then there's going to be, you know, there will be constraints for building it vertical versus building it on its side. But those are totally things that you can control.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And it's funny seeing, well, it's cool and seeing case companies try to utilize this, modularity, I guess you would say, but you're still so limited.
Yes.
You know, with I think it was Lily and Lee Evo or something, that, you know, you could flip the motherboard one different way.
Yes.
You can flip the motherboard
Only
4
one.
ways. Which is really cool.
Somebody says in chat that we might have forgotten to start on YouTube Live, but I'm pretty sure that we are we are going strong on YouTube Live. I will go check real quick, but believe we're good. No, we're live.
It's live. Maybe try refreshing.
Mm-hmm. The title is a little bit wrong, but we're just gonna roll with it. We're trying to do this more. Like this live streaming, I think, is a really fun way to like show the things that we work so hard on.
Yeah.
And
allow people to, you know, gather ideas as well, you know, maybe before they, you know, get the case and
1,000%. Yeah.
see the different configurations or get inspired on what they might want to do.
Yeah, totally.
I always like seeing that, like, oh, whoa, I saw a super sick build in that case. Like, I'm going to go get that.
Well, it's because you don't, you know, I mean, the cool thing about live streaming is that one, it's like we get to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And we get to have a conversation with the audience too. Like that's always a lot of fun. And then two, it's that you get to be a little bit more interactive. So if you guys want to see something, like I have some spare chassis. I have clearly like a small surplus of parts. If you have a configuration that you want to see, I'd love to go get an empty chassis, put it on, and, you know, see how it looks.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool sort of way to, you know, explore and get new ideas about how to build.
Definitely. Yeah, it helped me out before I got my hands on it. You doing that stream yourself with the different components. That was cool.
Yeah.
It was nice to see. It's like, okay. I see where I want to go with this. Nice.
The KYKT, Kyle, maybe? It says, what is the clearance for the radiator/fan for the side with the GPU bracket if you were to fit the rad/fan on the inside? So which specifics are we might be talking about Chris's build. What is the clearance for the radiator/fan on the side with the GPU bracket if you were to fit the rad/fan on the inside? Which the rad/fan is fit on the inside.
Yeah, but I guess it depends on which side and how you're doing the tubing and everything like that. Okay. So, do you have a measuring tape on here that we can measure it for? I know I could have used a 30 millimeter rad right here. I used a slim rad just because that's what I wanted to do. But you could use a 30 millimeter rad with slim fans here and still clear the GPU bracket.
Okay.
In this specific orientation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that was I remember we had a conversation about that when we were building, you know, what was the actual, or when you were building it rather, what was the actual clearance on that side of the GPU? And,
yeah, because it's really hard to tell from like pictures sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that from a build standpoint, one of the challenges with figuring out what that clearance is going to be, would be the actual height. So the radiator height itself, like the EK radiator height versus like a Hardware Labs or Corsairs or BizPower radiator height is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. I like this XSPC radiator. It's a 360 radiator, but the fittings are actually like probably some of the highest point of any radiator out there. Like they sit almost all the way at the top of the radiator versus, you know, if you look at these heat killer rads, they're in more. It doesn't look like it, but it is a couple millimeters that they're in. And on the new EK radiators as well, I think they're farther down.
Yes. So that's something that I try to take into consideration when I'm designing like sort of fitment for everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, you get to a point of diminishing returns where if you can make everything fit, but then you're just making it kind of so huge that it's a little nonsensical for what it actually has to be.
Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, I mean, you could have made everything bigger.
Yeah,
you have already done that. And you know, some people have some comments about how big the chassis is, but in reality, okay, it's a tall chassis, but in reality, it's the desk space of this orientation. The footprint is actually quite small.
Sure.
I had an N case previously, And although this is like slightly wider, it's about the same footprint on your desk. Like, okay, it might be 1.5 inches wider, but realistically, you know, what is that compared to, you know, you can fit two 240 slim radiators in that case, or one regular size 240 and one slim on the bottom, versus, you know, I could fit more radiators in this if I wanted to.
Oh yeah.
But, I chose to do it this way because this is what I want. So, yeah, no, you know, it's not actually that big of a case.
No, and an important thing to remember too is I think there's a lot of people that gravitated towards SFF, then got into water cooling, and then started attaching stuff like Moras and like radiator stands and like.
So yeah, if you're gonna talk about, you know, how much space does it take up? Well, okay, you have, you know, a giant Mora on your floor or something, wherever you choose to put it. But that's where you're at with the small form factor cases now, with the newest hardware.
With the newest,
not even the newest, but even last gen's hardware. You need to have sufficient cooling to get the most out of what you're buying, or else why? I mean, we're all enthusiasts here. We want, you know, we want the most performance we can get, right? That's why you go out and get the latest, greatest, right?
And that's why you spend all this money on this water cooling part.
You know, I get the small form factor thing, and wanting to make it as small as possible, but also I wouldn't want to do that at the cost of performance, in my opinion. That's how I am.
Sure.
And this allows me to, you know, like I said, get the small footprint on my desk, but still have ample amount of cooling for, you know, I could, this is a 3080 Ti and a 12700K overclocked shit. And it runs it very cool. I'm going to put a 13900K in here and it'll be just fine.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And another comment on that as well is with this specifically the new generation of everything coming out with the new power supplies, the new power requirements for everything. You know, I mean, there's only a lot of people who might have gravitated, who might have been on the fence. Am I going to get an SFX or an ATX power supply? I think a lot more people are going to be like, you know what, I'm just going to go get the ATX power supply.
They even make SFX power supplies.
Yeah,
with the amount of, you know, power you're going to need.
Sure, yeah.
Like there's like what, 1,000 watt small form factor power supply, I think, and that's not even the new like the new like the new 4 pins.
Sure, it doesn't even have
like
it.
That.
Yeah.
So
so like I'm gonna turn my build around carefully, because I am using an ATX PSU on here. I tried my best to cable manage these cables. Thank you, Mainframe Customs. Shout out to Mainframe Customs. If you guys need custom cables, Mainframe Customs makes, in my opinion, the best custom cables there are out there. He made these for the Dune chassis. If you guys remember that, or if you want to go look up the video, the Aorus Spotlight video that ModsbyBend made, that Chris was here to help with as well. These are the same. This is the same cable set for that. So these are huge cables, by the way. So these are big cables. But you know, I just want to show off the actual PSU and how everything is situated.
Vice versa, I have a small form factor power supply in the back.
I mean,
I don't know if I can see that.
You know, I think
also my pump on the back.
And I mean, I think that, and you know, chat, please, like, you know, chime in. I think that this fig is so cool.
Just don't worry about the cables. They're not here yet. So I had to use stock cables except for the GPU. Ignore them. They'll all be silver soon.
No, I think they look cool. So we have some more comments. Steph says maybe remove the huge 16 wheels tat in the middle.
The what?
I'm not sure what that means. Stuff I'm not sure. Oh, the huge 16 rad. It's a small ITX case for capability, smaller air cooling, go with the Monument. Yeah, no, absolutely. Right. Like if you want the Monument is still a really cool way to have a really.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But you're not going to get the performance that you could possibly get, with this.
Air coolers are running hard on the flagship CPUs that just came out.
Seriously.
It'd be pretty hard pressed to. There's air coolers that can do it, but it's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be
It's
hot.
gonna be hot. I know. I'm sitting at like 34 degrees.
So, KYKT says, I saw an extra attachment bracket for the fitting radiators on the front of the case. If you were to fit an EK FLT D5 reservoir there, will there be enough room for the D5 pump? Seems like it would be close to the fans right. Okay, so I think if I'm imagining what you're saying correctly, is that if we were to take the auxiliary bracket and come down this way, would there be enough room? I believe that there would be. Chris, can you hand me that that bracket? Yes. Okay. Cool. Thank you. So what's cool about this auxiliary bracket, and thank you for asking this because I need to show this more. The auxiliary bracket has there's quite a bit of room here in order to choose where to mount it. So you can basically jog it forward or back depending on exactly where you want it to be. That is true. There's in a couple of different places using some of the different fan or slot patterns. Did we lose connection?
Okay.
Restore connection. We're coming back.
All right.
Okay.
I think the volume was a little low.
Okay. Hopefully we're back now. Thank you for double checking that.
It looked a little low from there.
But yeah, so this is, I'm pretty sure that you would be able to do that specifically with a DDC pump. D5 pump,
Stick out quite a bit.
Yeah, those depending on what brand you go with too, that could be a little hard.
Yeah, I specifically chose to put my. I'm using a D5 pump, and I chose to put it on the back because it's so long with this reservoir that I was like, all right, I could totally put it here with the other radiator bracket. But I didn't want it sticking out of the case like a giant blob like that.
Sure.
So I just put it on the back. With the DDCs, that's that's not a lot. That's
No, yeah.
Especially with the cover, it actually looks good. So
this EK DDC, if you guys want to change your mind about DDC pumps, this DDC pump looks so good.
People say they're loud, but I can't.
Right?
I can't hear it.
No, you can't hear
Especially
it. Especially
with that on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a heat sink as well, so
Yep.
it actually transfers the heat, which is pretty cool.
I
I was thinking about picking one of those up, but I didn't get the chance to. So.
I have a DDC pump running in on my CAD build in the office, and that DDC pump is a little bit loud.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's specifically just that why this one is with why this DDC pump is quieter, but
Did it have the block on it in the one in your office, or
no, it didn't.
So I think that helps a lot.
Okay.
Blocking out the noise.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but it has to help a little bit.
It's got to do something, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You'd have to imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited about this specific build. I'm excited about a lot of things, but this build itself,
That's really cool.
it was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of the cable management with all the RGB was a little bit more of a challenge than what I think I'm used to. The
RGB cables are the worst. That's why I have none.
yeah.
Well,
you
I have
know,
one cable for the pump, but
Yeah.
you don't need it.
I just don't know why when more companies are gonna make the like the no contact ones, or like the, I don't know if there's a way to make it wireless or what.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wireless would be pretty cool, but
Whoever gets to that first.
if they're doing wireless RGB, I want wireless fans for. You know how you like connect your phone and to charge it,
Mhm.
like put little pads that we can stick like for things on the fan, like on the case.
Oh, okay.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
With like some like ribbon wire or something.
Yeah.
That you could run along. That would be pretty sick.
All right, that's an idea for the future. We'll see what we can. We'll see
Talk
what we
to
can do.
Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, Suman, how you doing, man? You want the case? Well, you can actually go check out the case right now. You go to youwillbeast.com. I made the product page live. I probably should have said that before, but youwillbeast.com or youwillbeaststore.com. The product page is live, so you can go there. You can configure. You can check out all the different options. The case will be released November 2nd on Discord and November 3rd for everywhere else. So it's coming. It's coming. There's going to be more specialty attachments too. Right now we're sticking with the auxiliary bracket, which I was showing before. We also have the special armature bracket, and then the armature. So maybe, and I should probably talk a little bit about this because I know that this was a point of confusion for some people.
I'm using the regular one in the regular configuration. So that's actually good that we did two different configurations here.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Because this is a regular bracket, like you would mount your right into the PCIe slot, your graphics card, right, or regular configuration, and you're using it with a riser cable, so you can mount it vertically.
So
technically, mine's vertical too.
And I have a really cool video that I was working with. Went to sleep. I have a really cool video that I put on the product page to try and explain this. There's two different GPU brackets for Calypso. There is the standard GPU bracket, which you can expect if you just order a standard one.
Yep.
And then there is the alternative auxiliary sort of GPU bracket. In that bracket, it comes bundled with an armature. So if you choose the armature option on the webpage, you will get this special bracket. This is a beefed up, probably like the beefiest like GPU bracket I've ever made. It weighs 0.65 pounds.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
So let's just take a second to think about that. This is 0.65 pounds of steel for just holding up your GPU.
Yeah, and this is a pretty massive card.
Yeah,
that you're holding up, and there's no sag to it at
all.
No,
yeah, so
this is
it's
a heavy card.
Yeah, it's a heavy card. I wanted to create something that was as supportive as possible. So if you do opt for the armature option on the web page, on the store page, on the product page, then you will automatically get that extra bracket that you need to use the armature. So this is and I like the armature. So the other cool thing about using the armature and additional bracket for Calypso is that it increases your total GPU length to 360 millimeters. With the standard bracket, you're at 336 millimeters, which is still large enough for basically, any Founders Edition block card for the past ever, as well as a lot of other blocks, a lot of other GPU.
You could still fit. This is a small block, but you can still fit. There's plenty of room here to fit a taller card.
Sure.
Plenty of room.
I wanted to create an option for people that wanted to start off. So, and this is something this happened a lot in the previous gen, where people got their cards, right? Which was hard, right? Remember how difficult it was to get a 3080, 3080 Ti or a 3090? You got your card and then you didn't have a block. right? And so like, what you spent like 3 months, waiting for your card. You get your card in, and you're not going to use it. No, of course you're going to use it.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
So I wanted to make sure that there was a built-in option for people who
Want it for
happens
the
in.
air cooling. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or just as an intermediary, they're waiting for the block that they want to actually use their hardware. No one just wants their hardware sitting on a shelf.
No, not particularly. I don't.
What is the max PSU you can fit in the back without blocking off the pass-through ports for cables? That's a really good question. I think
You can fit a pretty freaking tall PSU.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if there's one that's that tall.
I should. Well, so the tallest one that I have is this. This is what, an ATX-L.
Yeah, so that's an L power supply for sure.
And if I was to put it back here, visually looking.
Oh yeah, you're not blocking.
No, I don't.
Pass-throughs.
Yeah, I don't think
The way the pass-throughs are orientated, they're off to the side a little bit from the actual PSU.
Yeah. So
your wires really shouldn't be interfering with them.
Uba says, any conflict with DTX boards? That's a really good question. And I'm curious if DTX will be more widespread this generation. I know last generation there was talk about it. There was certainly demand for it.
Yep.
I don't know if I heard anything from.
They still have those same mounting holes, yeah.
Yes,
ITX.
it does. It uses the same mounting holes. It's just a little bit longer. So
you should be good in any way you really want to mount it.
You will absolutely be able to mount it the same. Mounting it to the build won't be any
Because it's
problem.
longer, not wider, yeah?
Yes, well, but it's longer in it would stick out more that way.
Yeah. Well, no, longer on the bottom.
Oh, okay, and you're in
orientation. So
okay.
It would be longer on the bottom. So yeah, I would have plenty of room. Especially if you're mounting it the way I do.
You would probably the only issue with the DTX board is that you might block a little bit of the cable pass through. So if you're imagining if this motherboard here was a DTX board, it would actually be going out this way, right? Because the DTX board sticks out that way more. So for our chat.
Well, the way you have them, there's no cable pass-through right here on the bottom.
Yes, there is no cable pass-through. So it's
and the
not,
same. That's the same way I did it here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no cable pass-through on the bottom here. So unless you decide to mount it like where there is a cable pass-through, yeah, it might come up slightly, but you're still going to have room to put cables through there.
Absolutely, yeah. You'll still be able to put cables through there. And if you're getting a DTX board, just know that you might have a little less clearance for whatever's on the side over here. And again, that's
they're only a couple millimeters longer, I think, though. So. It can't be more than a quarter inch longer, right?
I thought it was a quarter inch.
Yeah.
It was like,
I don't know. I've
6
never gotten one,
millimeters.
so.
I never had the opportunity to buy one. I don't know where people buy GTX boards. I don't know if Micro Center ever had them.
Doesn't Asus?
Asus, yeah.
Asus has.
But they're the only ones. Gigabyte never had one.
No, I don't. I mean, maybe, but I'm not familiar.
So again, that kind of goes back to what I was saying before. I'm curious if more motherboard partners are going to be creating DTX boards to address ITX with this generation. I'd be interested in it.
It seems like the ITX boards for this generation are like the B660 board, I think it is. They're not the X or Z boards. I mean, Asus has one or two maybe, but it seems like they're getting limited on how much stuff they can actually put on the bigger chip, higher chipset boards. So it's like there's really no point in making those ITX boards for that. So they're going to the lower tier of boards.
Okay. I
don't know. I was reading something on Reddit about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it makes sense.
No, well, that's certainly interesting. And I could see that happening.
Yeah.
The Snef says Crosshair Impact DTX board. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
And that's the only one, right? Like there isn't another. Is there another DTX motherboard form factor out there? I'm not sure. Currently rocking the Asus Crosshair Impact.
Why I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No,
cool.
you'd be good. You'd be good.
Yeah, dude, you're okay. You're okay. The yeah, if you do end up getting CALYPSO, like send me some pictures of that because that'd be really cool.
It's a nice board.
Yeah, that's a really nice board. It's a really premium board.
Yeah, it is. I was thinking about it 2 builds ago.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, any other questions? AS Rock has a server type GTX board, but well, yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't think you're gonna use Calypso for a server.
I mean,
Unless
if you
you're
do,
just
send
really
me a
cool.
picture. I mean, I could see Linus doing that.
Put it in the rack.
Put it in there. Should I make an attachment, a rackable attachment bracket for CALYPSO? I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, I think the next step is using these back holes right here for like a base mount for a wall.
Yeah,
That's something someone could do on their own too easily.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Just need to have some spacers.
Yeah, you would just need to have it like stand off. I mean, you're the
Standoffs or something.
you're the wood expert. What would you do to make that happen? Like, would you just get like a 4x4 and like, could you?
Oh no, like the actual like movable mounts.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
for like TVs and stuff.
Oh my god, that's such a cool visual. So like, it's like you're literally just like moving around.
Yeah. Or just this, you have the locked ones too. They're just like locked on the wall, so you can wall mount it. What I would do, I don't know, just probably some really long fucking screws and standoffs. That's what I would do. Really hope it works. I'd probably enlarge the holes and use bolts.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need to wall mount my PC, but I think some people like doing that.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking, so do you remember like in the Matrix, probably the first one, like when you first walk into like, what was the name of the ship in the Matrix? Shad, tell me what was the name of the ship in the Matrix? The one that Neo first gets on. It had a cool name. It had a really cool name. There's a scene where you walk in the cockpit and they have like, it's just like all the crazy wires and they have like all the crazy monitor mounts and something. Like that's what I imagine. You could fit like a wall mounted CALYPSO on like a movable thing. Like you could insert that into that scene and it would just be so cool. It would just fit.
Yeah. No editing required.
Oh, hey, ModsbyBend, dude. Thanks for stopping by, bro. I'm gonna send you a link to join the Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah, that's a cool Nebuchadnezzar. That's a cool.
That's the ship's name.
Yeah, yeah.
Lights white.
Yeah. Cool.
The link system on Restream is actually really awesome.
Yeah.
It works really good.
Ben, I'm going to send you a link on Discord. There you go. Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah, that's such a cool name. Uba says, my X Pro is currently looking like Medusa's. How fast can you shift to the EU? November 2nd, my friend. Go check out the Discord. We're launching on Discord first. As a thank you to everybody. The first batch is going to be like, I don't think they'll necessarily. The first batch is a pre-order, so like I'm not necessarily going to be going out of stock for anything, and I expect to ship everything like mid-December ish, depending on how everything goes. So like, yeah, dude, It's gonna be. I don't think you're gonna have to wait very long. So the price. Okay, so you can go to the website and you can. The product page is live. So you'llbeastore.com/products/Calypso, or you just go to You'll Be Store and click on the Learn More button on the splash page. Calypso default, so standard GPU bracket. No armature mount or anything else is $250. And the price will increase depending on all the additional options that you get, including the stainless steel motherboard, including some other special stuff. So I wanted to make the product as accessible.
Steel.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't buy that.
I'm really excited about the stainless steel.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. It's not a full stainless steel. There's basically the side radiator brackets are stainless steel and the motherboard stainless steel.
Yeah, what was that? Really cool.
I don't have.
I like the contrast of that idea as well. That's really cool.
Yeah. No, that's my personal favorite.
Yeah, that's sick.
It's really cool. That will be limited. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make that go out of stock at some point, just because I have to manufacture that in like some pretty small batches.
Yeah.
So Ben, just let me know if you got that link, bud. And yeah, so guys, thank you so much for being patient with us too. Like this is we're trying to live stream more. I'm trying to do it independently. Toph is awesome, and he can come down anytime he wants. And I love live streaming with Pro. The live streaming is just fun. Like it's just like
I want to get into it more, but it's definitely nicer to just be with someone and do it. It's opposed to being through a computer.
Oh yeah, no,
which is it's better than being by yourself still, but being in person, so, and get to chill and
unless you're like Ben and you live in Texas.
Yeah. There's planes. They fly fast.
You hear that, Ben? Giovanni says, do you have plans to open a EU store? Shipping costs are atrocious. Yes, so shipping prices are atrocious. So
you guys have taxes, import taxes,
and there's I would love to open up an EU store. I would love to have a partner or a distributor partner in the EU. So far I've reached out to some people and no one has really had a strong enough interest to sort of get back to me about it. I think that I'd probably want to work with a partner before working with a before having my own store available. But we'll take small steps. The good news is with Calypso, it is plus. The good news is that Calypso ships in a much lighter and relatively smaller package.
Still heavy.
It's still heavy, but it's I think comparatively it's like in the US it's free shipping, but it costs me like twice as less to ship Calypso to California, so it's about halfway across the way across the country, than it does a Monument. So you can expect at least more competitive shipping prices. Yeah, so free shipping for domestically and for Calypso, just like most of our other products. So I think Ben is getting ready. Super excited to have Ben in here. We're gonna have to. This is the first time I've ever added someone to stream, so we're gonna have to figure this out.
I think he just clicks in. If he has the link, he just has to start.
Okay.
Or
I might have to enable him.
Click that.
Yeah. I have to
add to stream. Yep.
All right, Ben, you're coming on in, bud. Hey, Ben.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you yet.
Oh, does it not come through the?
Mic check 1 2.
Because they'll get double audio, right?
Oh yeah, we might get double audio.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
no, it's
I hear you.
Dude, what
You
is
hear me
that?
Yeah. Oh shit! What is that?
That's in a car engine.
now? No, I brought this out. This is actually one of the first mods I did for a competition.
Wow.
What?
It was for the
Like a race car.
Holy
thermal
shit!
take something. I can't remember what it was. But I brought this out because I kind of want to do something as far as similar concept to the new case that you have. Because I mentioned before I do want to do a distro, but I want to do a distro to actual another panel that has a pass through. So basically, this up here you see is all connected to the pass through here, and then it goes into the actual parts.
Okay.
Whoa.
So I want to
That's
do
wild.
one of the distros, but then it goes out into the pass through, and then the pass throughs tubes go to the actual parts. That's what I kind of want to do. It's almost like I still want the same look to it as far as the tubes coming out from one side into the parts. Does that make
Wow.
sense? Or
No, dude, that makes sense. That looks so. I mean, from our view, like this looks like such an insane
That looks
PC.
insane.
yeah, this literally was it's maybe like 3 years ago, and this is when they first released their new distros thermal net.
Mhm.
So I literally took the concept of the distros and then added the pass through to kind of give it that same
Oh,
effect.
okay.
So if you wrap around, then it wraps around into the
Holy
actual
shit!
into the actual parts. Yeah. Sorry, I had to cover all the logos, but
That's fucking crazy.
The shout out to Mainframe Customs for those beautiful looking
oh
cables.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mainframes actually did those. So he's been at my back for a long time. So I was like, I always use them because, like you said, it's like his stuff is pretty amazing.
It's no, I mean it's above and beyond. I think some of the best cables out there.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Yeah, but that's what I want to do. Basically, taking the bracket off you have to
Mhm.
install the pump. So taking that bracket and installing a distro. Then from the distro, going into another panel I want to do that will connect all the tubes. Basically, it's almost like a central hub that all the tubes will be connected to. Then it goes out into the actual parts.
Okay. Okay.
I want to
Okay.
go wild, dude. I want to go wild.
Dude,
with
I
that
mean,
stuff.
you should. You should. I'm trying some
Yeah.
different views here to see.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
ones. Oh, that works better. That's cool. Yeah, man. So like, Ben, first of all, thank you for taking the time, man, to stop by and hang out. Like, it's always great to see you. We all need to sort of stream more.
Yeah.
This is something, it's a topic that keeps coming up. But
Yeah, I think so. It just brings out like different ideas, as
Mhm.
all of us share, and get just knowing where we're at, and also it motivates each other, to continue to innovate or be more creative. That's the whole point of getting together. Hey, what's up, Snap? How's it going, bro?
you guys don't hear double audio, right? Please let us know if you do. We can try and address it. So, Ben, you probably, as someone that builds a lot of custom PCs, you probably have had this happen to you. I did this entire build. Everything, it was done, it was beautiful, it was filled, and then I realized I didn't plug in a power button.
Dude, you know what's funny? I always try to pick a motherboard that has a power button just in case.
Yeah.
I forget installed. Because the Fortnite build I did for Gigabyte, intentionally I forgot to design a power button for the case. But good thing the motherboard had one. So when Gigabyte asked me how do you turn this on, and then I remembered I forgot, but I just told him, oh, you just turn it off from the motherboard. You forget the small details.
It's one of those things that you really don't.
It's awesome to have with an open air case.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a power
Exactly.
button if you have one on your motherboard.
Mm-hmm.
So on the
Hopefully,
next,
there's some more ITX boards that have the power button on them. Hopefully,
I don't think any of
probably
them do.
probably not. I think another, I can't mention the brand, but I think they did have one, which was a DTX. I think that it actually had a motherboard power button on.
Oh, okay.
I'm kind of jealous.
But I don't know if they are going to release a DTX for the new stuff, but I hope they do.
I hope they do too. There was a question before about how Calypso fits a DTX board, and I mean, I think it fits it fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The only limitation might be obviously the way that the GPU bracket attaches in. Your GPU bracket might have to be so to preface that, the GPU bracket, there's two different GPU brackets, one for standard and one for the armature.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them can mount in at least 3 different places. So you can jog your GPU bracket out farther or in farther depending on how you want to.
Yeah, I have mine in the
style build.
closest orientation.
Mhm.
I could have gone out further.
Yeah.
But
It really just depends on what sort of style that you're looking for, right? With a DTX board, you will have to push that out farther. That might limit what you can put on the inside of this radiator panel on this side over here.
Mm.
But again, like what we're saying, what I think I've consistently said about Calypso is there's very few hard limitations to it. All the limitations are normally like build choices that you make.
Mhm.
it's really how you want it. Like,
Mhm.
you could go all out and put thick rads, and you just have to put the fans on the outside.
Mhm.
It's whatever you want to do.
So on not the one Eric did, the one you did, where's the GPU at? So it's installed. It's without the bracket. Eric did it with a bracket, right?
Mhm.
That's the GPU.
I like how open it looks. I don't know if people realize that it sits in the center, but then all around's open, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted you to critique our builds. And I had a prediction before we started this. I told Chris, I said, Ben's gonna like your build more than mine.
You think so?
I think my suspicions were just.
Well, here's the caveat. So normally, if a brand comes up to me and they're like, "We had this new motherboard, we want to highlight the motherboard," so that's when I'll actually mount it the way it was traditionally mounted because it shows the motherboard. So sometimes people look at myself like, "Why did you do that?" Or "Why is the GPU air cooled?" There's a reason why, because they use these builds for marketing. So then my job is actually to build something to highlight whatever they're showcasing. So say AMD. Say AMD is releasing a new GPU. So they'll come to me, it's like, we had this new GPU, do your thing, Ben. So my job is to try to focus on the GPU and then everything else secondary. So the way Eric did it, that's how I'll do it if I'm highlighting the GPU.
The diplomatic answer.
Mm.
Exactly. But it's like, imagine it's a new GPU, and if it's mounted the way you mounted it, Eric,
Mhm.
like it would just highlight the GPU so well. Like
Yeah.
the whole attention would be to the actual GPU, because the way the chassis is built, it's like a rectangle, but everything in the center pops out. So that's what you want the attention to be.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a good piece. Those who are watching, it's a good case if you guys are highlighting certain parts.
Mhm.
You want to showcase your new GPU, and hey, buy the bracket so you can actually see your GPU.
Yeah.
Or if you want to highlight your motherboard and it has a monoblock in it, you want to highlight that. So just mount it traditionally. So it's like, I think the way you design it, Eric, is like it helps to highlight certain product or certain hardware, which a lot of builders want, especially their GPUs. They want to highlight their GPUs.
Well, thank you, Ben. Thank you as always for such kind words. The highlighting the GPU in this specific orientation, like that was something that again, we talked about the fluidity of building. That was when I was building and I realized that I could do that.
Yeah, it sits like right in the center, which is awesome.
And again, like the cool part about using this special GPU bracket I made for the armature, which is needed to use it, but it lets you have, I think it's like it lets you jog and position the GPU up to like, I think it's like 0.4 inch or less than half an inch of actual dialing in exactly where you want it. Which is just that's the only way that you can make it kind of look like this.
Yeah.
So it holds the 360 on the sides,
Yeah.
and on the
I got
top is
360 on
just
the
a
side.
240.
280 or 240 on the sides.
Okay,
Mhm.
but you can
So
install
there's,
360s if you want, right?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah. So I have a 360 here, and then over here I have a 360 EK distro, or FLT reservoir rather, I finally did it. I finally mounted the pump on the outside.
Why you're like, why are you doing that, Ben? It looks awesome. Like the heat sink looks freaking
it
sick.
looks really good. For everyone that doesn't know, I always give Ben shit for putting the D5 or DDC pump on the outside. But you know what? He's right. It looks really good when you do it.
It looks really good.
I liked it.
Where'd you put your pump at? Ah, nice.
Yeah, right. Doesn't that?
like
I
that.
told you,
Yeah.
everyone.
It looks all right.
No, it looks good. That's the thing. Like it's a case where you can actually play with. You know,
Yeah.
you're not restricted to certain layouts,
Mhm.
and I like that.
I would have mounted a 240 FLT, but they don't have mounting holes on the side like the 80 does. The 80 you can mount it on the side, so or the back, which is cool. And I don't have any taps, so I couldn't do taps.
So Bits Power makes one that looks like a FLT.
Do they?
Yeah, and you mount it on the sides.
Oh, really?
You want to see it? I can bring it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, show it
Yeah,
up.
let me bring it.
So this is the for everyone watching. This is a 120.
What's that DDC?
This is a
Biscuit.
Biaski one. There is no, as Toph was saying, there's no mounting holes on the side, which is actually kind of a bummer because that's like a really cool option.
No, yeah, that's pretty much the reason I got this.
Mhm.
It's like I can mount it on the side.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
I think that Kyle in chat before had a really cool idea of using the auxiliary bracket to mount a FLT with a pump like in the front of the case, which would be a really cool, like you get a window looking through.
yeah, that would be really sick.
That would be a really neat way to do it. I think that it's like kind of like a conversation that you can have, like, or a lot of builders have about ways to responsible ways to use RGB.
This looks really tasteful and good. I think
this is at the high end of like RGB use. Like this is like I would never go more RGB than this.
this is
Like,
I think it's fine.
yeah.
I like the way it looks, especially with the like red orange color. It looks sick. It complements the pump black, the red.
But like I'm always sort of trying to, and I've said this about Ben's builds a lot. Is Ben plays with light really well. Whether it's reflective surfaces, whether it's different colors within colors, overlays of different types of acrylic. Like Ben does a really good job with that, and that is like a much more challenging way to use color than just RGB fans of the build.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to use like an FLT reservoir on the front over here, like that could hypothetically be your only source of RGB in the build. But think about how much light that actually gives to the rest of the components and the rest of the case if you use it in that orientation.
Yeah, I like that idea. Mounting it like a 240 right here.
Yeah.
That would look sick. I have one. I might do it. But then I would need to get the reservoir version only and not the pump version. That's what I have. I could do dual pumps, I guess.
Why not?
I have to get one of those.
Yeah, to get one of those.
So
this
Ben,
is,
what is the part that you have now?
So this is really old. I'll say this is maybe 2 years. 2 years old, I guess.
Oh wow. Okay.
So this was before the FLTs. And it is designed by Bits Power, but what I like about them, so it's almost like a FLT, but it has a small channel that you can run another run. So basically it has a reservoir and then another channel to run it. But the whole thing on this is actually all the ports are on the side
Okay.
instead of in the front. But the way it's mounted, it's on the side here. So if you stick on a case, it's mounted sideways.
It's almost like a manifold.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's cool.
Which comes, but the only thing, it only comes with a DGC pump. but it comes with their DDC pump. You cannot change it to use a different DDC pump. But the way they did their DDC, it's a small connector that they did, and all it is controlled by PWM. So you don't need no SATA or Molex to power the pump.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so it's less wires, basically. But,
Yeah.
so all you have is your ARGB and then PWM input, and that's it to control the pump.
It gets
But that's
the
what I was
power.
saying. Like this is almost the size of a 240 FLC. But it's
Wow.
mounted
Do they
on the
make a
side.
smaller one?
No, they don't. This is the only size they have.
Oh, okay.
I wish they did different sizes, but they don't. But I have used this. I used this recently for another build for TwitchCon, and there's specifically I designed a case so I can mount this because I just like the way it looks.
That's quite. I mean, that's quite the compliment to the product design. You know.
Yeah. I don't know because I like when the tubes come out the sides. I'm always a fan of that instead of from the front.
Yeah, it definitely makes it. It's different. I mean, you know, there aren't. I feel like less people have the tubes coming out of the side, but it does add a different sort of direction to it. Like the problem with the ports in the front is that you're always making it. You're making it so you can only really mount that thing in one orientation where
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind
what
of
I think.
visually pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Hold on, I'm trying to log into Adobe to show the image.
So like in Chris, this was a conversation that we were having before too. Like you were talking about you really do a lot to sort of minimize the amount of wires that you have in a build.
Yeah, for sure. No
yeah.
RGB.
No RGB. I normally end up with more RGB than I think I ever really intend to.
I don't know. The Dune looked great. This looks great. Like you do the RGB pretty well. Like this is I like that RGB. Like without it, it would
Yeah.
I think it adds to it for sure.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. The Dune RGB was probably the most challenging RGB that I've ever done. Like the amount of wires. In fact, let me get that. I want to show everyone the amount of wires in that.
Oh no. Oh geez.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna start on the front. So for everyone, this is the Dune. There's two. The Dune had two of these, right? So there's one on the left and one on the right. And I tried really hard to make this look as clean as possible, because if you go to the back, you can see just how many.
Oh my god.
How many wires I'm hiding back there.
Yep.
Oh.
That's how it is.
Yeah, that's exactly the. That was. I was really proud. I was really proud of doing all that cable management. Unfortunately, I didn't get to show it to everyone.
What would be sick is one of those. What do you call that metal? The perforated metal, like a screen for the top fans.
So that was something that
I know it's really difficult.
Yeah.
To do, but that would just be.
It would be cool.
Sick because I was like, I need to get a cover. I think for this, I don't know.
So there's two things. One, I think that making some really cool fan guards and stuff like that, like, because I looked at all the fan guards that are available and like they're all really tasteless.
Most of them, yeah.
None of them really look that good. So having fan guards or designing some fan guards.
90s PC fan guard.
Yeah. I think that'd be really neat. Also, I was thinking about like some cool ways to create some wired guard covers for CALYPSO. There's if I turn my build around. Here. You'll see that I have some wire management coming down here. I have wire management here, and then wire management going across. I thought it'd be really cool when I was designing this, or when I was actually building it, rather, or designing the build, if to make some magnetic like covers that would just sort of like magnetically connect to the top.
Oh, like C bracket, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
C channel.
exactly. That would just
See, like yours versus mine with no RGB.
yeah.
So I have them routed essentially the same way.
Mhm.
Like I have, well, you can't really see it too well, but very minimal
Yeah,
cables, and with the RGB, it adds a lot of cables.
that's so many cables.
Let me get the Lee and Lee fans.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Lee and Lee for all those 011 dynamics they sold. That's what they did with the money.
You know, what if you created some sort of bracket that would create like a hub in the back? So
Mhm.
if anyone has a lot of RGB, they just stick all the cords in there and then they route.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I was saying. Like if I created a channel, right? So imagine like a C channel,
Yeah.
but with magnets that you could just connect right here.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
Yeah,
to hide
magnets.
this entire like behind. Basically, it almost looks like it would extend out the radiator a little bit with like a nice brushed finish.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, dude.
You know, you could have one there, and then you could have one on the side.
Yeah.
You know, that would just be a real easy way to, it's magnetic. You just shove everything back there.
Yeah.
You know, put it on.
Or even if they want to cover everything, just
Yeah.
make a big one and just snap, and that's it, and it covers
Yeah,
everything
no,
in the back.
absolutely. Yeah, if you want to just hold the entire.
Yeah, cover the whole thing. But it's like that's the thing. There's a lot of possibilities,
Mhm.
for accessories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have no monopoly on the accessories that are available. Like there's, I love it when people like 3D print stuff, like for the chassis. That happens all the time.
Yeah, Pixel made a really cool faceplate for the Mobius.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So if you guys aren't in our Discord, shameless Discord plug, discord.gg/YoBeast. Come join, come hang out. If you're interested in Calypso, we are going to be announcing Calypso or making Calypso available for pre-order first on the Discord by whole day. So, definitely.
So,
definitely.
what are the colors you guys are gonna do?
So, okay, that's a great question. Black texture is going to be the default. After black texture, we're going to have I have a stainless steel variant, which I'm really excited about. I love this stainless steel augmented look. And then after that, I think that we're going to make a Discord vote. I want to see what other colors people are really interested in.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Yellow.
No. Not yellow.
Probably be white. I think a lot of people want white.
Yeah. White's hard. White is surprisingly
very
hard.
Yeah.
The thing about white builds is like all the components are all different, even for the same manufacturer, like a GPU and a motherboard and like metal and plastic, you can never get the same hue white.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like what bothers me about it. It's like black is pretty much black, but white is not white.
Mm-hmm.
There's,
And Ben, is there? I mean, you have a background in color and design. Like, is there a reason why white is so hard to pull off?
I guess because the mixture of paint is what kind of dictates what kind of white it's gonna be. Because even if you add a little bit of mixture to the paint, it throws off the tone of the white automatically.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to get accurate white. Because also you don't know how the other brand, what kind of pigment they picked to make their white.
Yeah.
That's the only issue on that. Like black
So there's
is
a lot of
black.
variables.
Yeah, tons of variables, especially for white. It's tons.
And I think what you said is like that it's really easy to tell when two whites are off next to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some okay, so Uba has a really cool wooden or acrylic panels would be sick. And yeah, a wood panel would be really Chris, maybe that's
don't even ask. I'm a woodworker by used to be trade, That's what I do. It's my thing. I don't like wooden PCs. Wood and
At
PCs. No. People are like, oh, you'd be so good at it, dude. Do this, do that. I'm like, no, I don't like it. I don't want to
Heck
see
no.
it. I don't think that I don't like the combination of it. It does look sick, and people pull it off, and they do a great job. For me personally, as a wood guy, I'm just like, I like to keep wood more traditional and like away from technology,
Sure.
and keep my technology more. I don't know how you say it, but with my wood aesthetic, it's like traditional
You're traditional.
wood design.
Yeah.
And I just think technology and wood like clash, and like I don't know. I guess it's a deeper thing, but
Okay. No, that's okay. That's fair.
I don't know.
I'm looking forward
He's
to
like,
someone that does the first makes the first wooden panels. That would be so sick. Please let me know when that happens.
But it has to be sort of not like
It's like
a walnut.
it's not real
A walnut
woodworking.
would be. I like the color walnut.
Yeah, Ben. The Tanner says, can't wait to build one. Tanner, I'm excited for you to build one as well. I can't wait. Tristan text. Hey, what's up, Tristan? Tough to match with white components. Yeah, 100%. It's really difficult to match. Really difficult to match. Tanner says, when can I see some awesome pics of Toph build? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Show those pics.
When I get my cables in, you can see that there's black cables here, standard cables, and then I got the silver cables for the GPU. They're all going to be silver eventually, so that's why like it's a I'm waiting to get my cables basically.
Okay.
Not going to take pictures with gross black cables.
It's all good, dude. But at least show one. Show one, dude. Show a close up of at least one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Show over here. Move. Center up your build, bud. Go even farther up. Yeah.
It's a little bit dark because it's everything's black. I can do that.
Yeah, dude.
It looks
this is
sick, dude.
sick. Man, I love that. Like, I love how this goes. Like, just the dynamics of the tubes are just great.
Yeah. But I like how you kept it parallel coming out the CPU.
Yeah, that was like the mainstay of what I wanted to do, is like keep everything as parallel as possible. With some runs it was a little difficult because they only bend one way, but I tried to keep that theme along this side. But
So on the other side of the
one
bracket,
kinda
it's just holding up the case.
what's that?
On the, I guess on your left side of the case, it's just the bracket.
Yeah, it's just bracket, nothing there.
Okay. Do you have to have the bracket, Eric?
I include one of each bracket in every purchase. I recommend it, but in my own testing, it's not.
I don't think
100%
this build
necessary.
will sag if I take it off, which I tighten them too hard, so I can't.
Yeah.
But I don't think it might. It might sag ever so slightly, but I don't know.
It shouldn't. And I was able to build with it without having with mock-up build, without having one radiator panel on, and it didn't sag, but it also wasn't as like I wouldn't necessarily in Toph's build. I wouldn't have this hardline tube and then not have this supported bracket here. Like with a soft tube, I think it'd be okay.
Okay.
But then again, it also sort of depends on, your own build preference. And
Oh, and yeah, once this thing's fully built, like the stability of it, like
Yeah.
I know you were like, like I need to make it like, and I put it on the other side. It's like, no,
yeah.
it's solid. It's solid. I mean, this is heavy though. This is super
Yeah.
heavy.
Well, yeah, they get heavy quick. The one of the things I really like about CALYPSO is I made an Instagram story of an alternative orientation, the landscape orientation of the build. And I'm really excited to see someone take advantage of that. Because I think you can really make some really dynamic
It was really hard for me not to do that. It looks so cool. But I decided to go with this. So I just like the smaller footprint, but it's not even that big with the other layout, but it just sits cleaner next to my monitor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any way to modify it where it's ATX?
Is there any way to modify it where it's
Say
ATX?
I create another plate to go over that motherboard plate to install a ATX.
What is he asking?
If he creates a plate to go, wouldn't it would be? I think it's doable. But it would be a pretty serious mod. Like you would.
Because if I get the DXF files, just so I can create the plate,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cut it out and install it. But basically, I will still use the same mounting points for the mini ITX.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
So basically, I just go and put it on top, or then add the ATX.
So now the only tough part about that is that the standoffs and the plate are PEM inserted.
Okay.
So and because of that, you can mount the plate to those PEM standoffs, which wouldn't be an issue. Or you're talking about just totally replacing the plate, the motherboard plate in general.
No, I was thinking adding to it, basically.
Okay, so if you're going to put it on top of it, then that motherboard plate would be now
Further out, yeah.
Further out, which wouldn't. I mean, that might limit some like weird.
Ben, motherboard plate distro.
Oh.
Just replace the whole motherboard plate with the distro.
He's like, do it, Ben. Do it.
I don't have access to the tooling. You have to.
That's a lot of acrylic.
That would be dope, dude. That'd be really sick.
Ben, to answer your question, yes, you could.
Because what if someone says like,
I encourage you to look at the stream.
I want to buy that case, but I want it to be ATX. So if I design a plate, automatically just screw it in. You got it already.
So this is like there was actually a conversation on our Discord about the wanting this case as an MATX. And I love MATX. That's like probably my favorite standard. It's perfectly square.
Just get the Atlas and then drill some holes for some new standoffs.
Yeah.
Or do they have similar standoffs?
The standoff pattern isn't the Atlas for an MATX.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah.
There's your MATX one.
Depending on how successful CALYPSO is in the launch, I would definitely consider making an ATX or MATX version of CALYPSO as a more affordable Atlas. But at the same time, it's sort of just like, I'm not really sure.
How many versions of the CALYPSO is going to be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
interested to see, Ben, if you could put a plate, if you could make a modification plate to it.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's a kind of a very interesting proposition, because you are limiting inherently the radiators that could fit to the inside of the case. Yeah. But you're going to end up with you end up creating a platform, an ATX platform that's pretty like basically an SFF ATX platform
Yeah,
with
exactly.
ridiculous amount of water cooling capabilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like they did the 011 Mini.
Mm-hmm.
A strategic plan for a smaller ATX size build.
Mm-hmm.
And well, there's just a lot more options for ATX.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There always are.
But there's not many cases that are small for ATX.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the design problem I always run into when creating small ATX cases is that I think oftentimes the people that are looking for a small ATX case aren't going to be don't normally have don't their interests normally lie a little bit outside of the kind of the hardcore hobbyist sort of space that we all sort of occupy.
Mm-hmm.
So they may not really ever see options that I create for that.
Yeah.
They might just be specifically they're looking for a small ATX case because they don't want to take up a lot of room because they know they're not going to be doing like a crazy water cooling bill or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to also see if that sentiment changes, right? Because with the new generation of hardware and stuff, like everything is a little bit more power intensive. It is a little bit more demanding. And that was a big reason why I wanted to create an ATX PSU mount for CALYPSO. I didn't want something that was just limited to SFX PSUs.
Because even the original Atlas, how much bigger is compared to the CALYPSO?
The original Atlas is. I actually have a. I did mock them up next to each other. They were the OG Atlas.
Wider.
Yeah, the OG Atlas.
Yeah, it's wider and
But is it taller?
It is taller, but it was probably only like an inch taller than CALYPSO. But it was definitely a lot
Wider?
deeper and a lot wider.
But there was did you end up making 360 were there 360 wings for it or
I did have a radiator bracket, yeah. I did create a radiator bracket.
I have the water cooling bracket, not the radiator bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I need to if that ever comes up.
Yeah. But yeah, so like the OG Atlas, so that was basically that was a pretty small form factor ATX case, that had a lot of cooling to it.
Yeah, I did. So Sniff said install the rads on the outside, rads and fans on the outside if I create a plate.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
but do you feel a takeaway from the design you made?
Within ATX motherboard?
Yeah.
I think that it would. I think that if you made a panel, if you had a panel that attached if you floated a panel, right, to the inside, I think that aesthetically it would be really, really interesting. And I think that you could even do some really cool backlit RGB stuff from coming out of that panel.
Yeah.
I think that you would limit a lot of the cooling being placed internally. But I don't know. I think you could probably still fit you'd probably still have 25 millimeters on each side. I wish I had I do have a motherboard here, but I don't have an ATX motherboard because we could actually like mock it up and show you.
That's EA.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at,
massive.
the Aorus Master.
No, that's the biggest
motherboard. That
EATX.
might not be the representation we're looking for.
Yeah, it's a big one.
That's a case in itself.
So anyone in chat, do you guys want to see this in the ATX size? I don't know if anyone's in there, but me personally, I would like ATX because due to options as far as what's out there. Even now, like they're limiting what you can get for mini ITX.
Hmm.
You know, it looks like they're not doing much anymore. Maybe because all the stuff needs more power. Maybe. So
Perhaps, yeah.
yeah.
I definitely will. I love to see what you mock up with for an ATX panel on the inside. I will. I'll think about it myself. We should have the next live stream that or maybe not the next one, but a live stream that we do. I'd love to like cross compare our different solutions to doing.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
I think that'd be really fun. Uba says, "Is the armature and aux bracket black when buying the stainless steel version of the chassis?" Yes, it is. They will be black. The stainless steel variables to the chassis are the 2 radiator brackets and the motherboard panel. Everything else is going to be black texture. I will try to make that a little bit more clear on the product page. So thank you for asking the question.
So Snef said he'll use a M ATX crosshair. So not mini ATX, not ATX, more M. I guess it's in between.
Well, an MATX would be a lot easier to mount. Unfortunately, again, like I love the MATX size, it's just no one makes motherboards for it.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about ATX is that it's not a square. It's like kind of hard to design things around things that aren't square.
Well, just how Chris laid out the motherboard, so it'll be rotated, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. You know,
Sure,
the motherboard's rotated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's sticking out a little bit further out, but it's like at the end of the day, it will still look symmetrical.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, yeah, that's an interesting proposition, Ben. We're gonna think more about that. The wheels are spinning.
Oh, now the rabbit hole.
But if you guys do need an ATX, there's always the Atlas Atlas 2022 revision. I do have them in stock right now. We are dwindling down. I'm on my last skid of parts, so I don't know how much longer they will be in stock. But
I need one.
That is the chassis to get if you want. That is not a small chassis by any means.
Double the size of this.
Yeah, it's about 2 times the size.
But the reason I was looking at ATX because what if not redesigning the whole thing? All you have to do is just create a panel, and people have the option either they want mini ATX.
It would just be taller,
ATX.
pretty much, right?
No, the motherboard. No, I'm saying with the CALYPSO. Say somehow we figure out. But what do we want the size? Like I still want the same size of the CALYPSO with the ATX.
So if you did, Ben, the only way to do that is exactly what you suggested, and it's that having a plate that mounts to the
Inside.
To the inside.
Yeah.
And I think that there is probably a way to do that. And now I'm thinking more and more about it. I think that is a kind of a cool. That is kind of a cool way. I think that the way that the GPU bracket functions, you are going to have the GPU bracket more out to this side, my orientation. Which wouldn't be a huge deal. There's actually something cool that you can do with these radiator brackets too that I'm gonna wait for someone to be clever and do, is that you can use they make cylindrical standoffs. I have some over there.
And extend them out.
And you can actually extend these panels out probably up to at least an inch to give yourself more clearance. And that is a cool way to kind of modulate the size of the build really specifically. And again, like I don't like whenever I'm sort of
really good idea.
Yeah, whenever I'm designing like some of these constraints around it, like I want to create pathways for people to take that are customizable to their approach, that stylistically fit with what they're doing, but also are always just tight enough to fit the constraints of their build. Ben, thank you for that idea and suggestion. I'm excited for us to for us to stream our ideas together with this.
It's another option as far as, people can say, oh, it's only mini text,
No, absolutely.
METX on a distro motherboard tray with GPU on the back.
But what size of power supply you can use? I guess you need power supply.
There's
Both.
yeah,
All
SFX or
sizes.
ATX. You can choose the bracket that you want. In checkout. There's no price difference between the two, only if you want both. It's I have my build with an ATX PSU. Chris has his with an SFX. I personally like the SFX more, but again, with the power constraints of this new generation, I mean,
I know, it's crazy. They're making stuff bigger. Like, why they keep making stuff bigger? Like, they should make it
I don't know.
smaller.
First it was small, now it's big again.
It's huge. Like, come on.
Just like phones,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I want the smallest phone 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I want a tablet in my pocket.
Yeah.
Now you need to fold your phone in order to fit it.
It's, yeah, pretty, not disappointing, but it's like, it's not, I guess, they don't really keep in mind as far small form factor. It was going hot, and then it's kind of like dwindled down now because everyone's kind of concerned about the parts now, if GPU is fitting or not.
Yeah.
But as far as yours,
Hard
there's
to
no issues, right?
No.
get the proper cooling with the parts now too. With it.
Yes, to get the proper cooling with that. Yeah. You forgot to take off the
You're right.
So Ben, tell us about what projects you have coming up.
All right, so right now I'll just say I have 2 projects for AMD. The other one I can't really talk about, but this one I could. So they reached out to me to do a mod for a game studio, and this studio is going to release a new game, but the game itself, they told me the build has to be horror and sci-fi. Horror and
Okay.
sci-fi. So basically they said cannot be no pastel colors, they told me. Like no pastel colors. I was like, why would I do that if it's horror and sci-fi? It's like, maybe I should do it. But the thing is, it's almost like a mixture between Resident Evil and, I don't know, another game that's more toned down than Resident Evil. But it's going to be like a first person game, like shooter game. But the thing is, I told them, is like, for me to do this, or for me to commit to doing this, because it is, like I mentioned to you, like it is a different style than I normally do, which I'm fine with that, because I feel I can pretty much do any style that I want based off what I can do, but it'll still represent who I am, not necessarily just copying their branding, but also mixing my branding and putting it together. I think that's why they reached out to me, because they want a mixture between what I do and what the client wants.
Okay.
But my thing is, I told them, is like, I would do this if only I get to visit the studio. And AMD, because like for me, it's more on just creating a community and also creating first impressions, not just delivering a mod and that's it. And they don't know where this computer came from. They see it as it came from AMD and that's all they see it as. But if they know where it came from and they meet the artist that built behind it, and because a gaming studio, there are a bunch of artists too. So it's like we're both meeting each other from different genres. So I just feel that it'll be more impactful, to meet each other. So we can both kind of have just a good experience on that.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, 100%. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. It's networking, but also like going the extra mile. It's like, I did this for you guys. I would love to deliver it firsthand and get their reaction, from it. And also,
You want the experience. So are you going there before you're going there are you going there before you build it, or just after to deliver the product?
Well, we already have this calls, so we already have
Okay.
meetings and stuff. So I already met the person I'm in contact with. but I'm going once the build's done. So
Okay.
literally the build's gonna go with me to them,
Okay.
and then go from there. But I'm excited because it's, when I went to school to study 3D animation. So a lot of it, what they're training us for game studios and also for like TV commercials and small short films. Not really big production because starting out of school, they don't really hire people like that. So they're focusing more on the smaller side of the business, which was game studios and commercials. So it's the way they showed us, or at least the stuff I saw as well, it was very, very much art driven. A game is very art driven. Like you had to create a story, create characters, mood, landscaping, like everything is very art driven. So they actually told me, it's like, we would love for you to mock up a design before we approve. And normally I don't. Normally I just create the mod and give it to them. But for this one, I'm willing to do a mock up so they can see what it's actually going to look like. And it's been a long time since I did anything render wise. It's been a very long time. So now it's like, if I want to continue to do what I do, I also got to put myself in an uncomfortable position for me to grow. So that's why I took the job, because it's going to help me long term if I want to continue to do this on the next level. So if everything plans out well with this studio, then this studio will talk to other studios. So it's like, it's going to help me long term, if I want to do this, especially doing it as like representing me, myself,
Yeah.
not just
No,
a
it's-
random company like AMD or the other, or Intel's. Like, they do these mods, but they never get to meet the artist behind it. And I don't want to be that person. I want to work with a company who's willing also to help me out so they can meet the artists themselves. Like I mentioned to you guys, I always wanted where it's like I promote modders. I always wanted to do that because we're such a small community. People don't see it as art, and it is. It's a big, big art that we do. We take from each other's experiences that we had in our life, and we build these machines. And it's becoming where it's the word is finally getting out. But it's still very small.
It's still,
It's very small.
It's always going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, exactly. But it's
Yeah.
like there has to be people out there willing to push for the industry, and also different standards on how to push. Like, this is an art form, because I'm sure when painting came along, people were like, "What is that? You're using like ink? Like, what is that?" But look what it became.
Yeah,
It
Bob,
became
you're
a lot
wasting
of-
your time painting those cave walls.
Yeah, exactly. And look what, like, it became more. It's even now, like, it is a lost art now, but those who were doing it back then when it was very hot, there's all so much value in it.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with modding. People say they still see it, even on TikTok. There's a bunch of TikTokers that are like, you're wasting your time doing this stuff. Like, get out of here. I'm not. I'm not. The thing is, like,
TikTok is it's a
Interesting.
because they see it as like, I just want a computer. That's it. But I see it as it's a functional art piece that you can use every day.
1,000%.
And people don't understand that. They don't, because you can use it automatically. They say it has no value to it because you can use it. That's not true. That's because we live in an age that's very technical based, and we're advancing every year, so they see no value. They're like an art painting. To buy the materials, it's like $5-10 to buy materials, but then they sell paintings for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the materials cost it $50. Doesn't make any sense. So they tell me, like, oh, you're just wasting your time doing all this stuff. It has no value, but eventually it will. Someone has to be out there.
I think the part of the value is the conversation that you have, right? Like, that is the those are the things that are hard to express about art or about builds or about whatever. And that's one of the things you said that was really interesting, was that you get to go and deliver this build, this product, this art piece, this functional design to this company, to these people, right? These are for the most part, these are other artists, right?
Yeah.
These are guys and girls that have worked on their this project probably for years at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They have a lot invested in it, and now they get to have a conversation about, this is what we did, this is what you did, how do these two ideas, what's the synergy behind this? What can we find in common about, these two different things that we've been working on? that's really cool. Like, that's how it should be, really.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it takes a lot of courage, to do this, because when you're starting to deliver to these studios or even other artists, they like good stuff. It's like I cannot just do normal anything. Like they prefer or they expect good because they're good. It's always a bar that you always have to reach because of the type of level or the machines you're delivering to. It can't just be AIO. Like it cannot be.
Yeah.
They're expecting, they're spending months and months designing this game. They expect the same thing from me.
Yeah.
To design something.
You don't want to disrespect them with like a AIO.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, there's nothing wrong. Like, there's some people that do that. There's nothing wrong with it. But for me personally, I prefer to give it all that I can when I can. When I'm allowed to do it. Like the build I did for TwitchCon, dude. Like they gave me a week to do it, but then I got sick for 2 days, so I only had 3 days to do it. And the thing is, 3 days to do it, but redesigning because I already had the chassis. I redesigned the chassis to make it more polished. That's what I was doing. Then I cut it, but I had to do it in 3 days. But the reason I pushed myself because I wanted something to be more polished. I already did the design,
Yeah.
but I didn't like the way it came out, so I redesigned it, and it's always a grind. It's always a grind when you're trying to create something. Because I'm like you and me, like we're into standards as far as stuff has to look professionally. Not everyone thinks it that way, but we are. We want ourselves to be out there as best as it can be. Even though I didn't sleep for 3 days, and people will look at this machine, oh, it's awesome. But it's not that I'm praising myself, I did it in 3 days, but it's more the effort that I did to produce this project is what motivates me to continue to do. It's cool. What we do is really cool, but at the same time, it can be very stressful.
Sure.
But that's the nature.
Nothing worth doing is ever easy, right?
It's not. It's not,
it's
but
the struggle. It's the struggle that makes you better. It's the struggle that makes good art. It's the struggle that,
Yeah, when you run into a roadblock, I think like if everything were easy, you wouldn't come out with good. Well, this goes for anything, but like building in general is what every time I've run into a roadblock, I've come up with an even better idea than I had before for a build. So like, I don't know. I think the hardness of it is like enlightens kind of, I guess, like the process. Like if everything were so simple, then, it's good when it's simple sometimes, but like, you have to take what you run into in the hard times and turn it into something like productive and better, like learn from.
Yeah, that's a really good sentiment.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it should be, right?
Yeah, exactly. But also, it's if you put yourself in a very uncomfortable position, at the end of the day, it will make you better. It will make you better no matter what. That's the intention to do. When you're uncomfortable, it puts pressure on you. But then you realize you accomplished the project, it makes you better. It just makes you better. Like, it doesn't make you worse. If you accomplish the project, like, you feel excited. I did this. I fucking did it. I'm sorry. But I did this,
Oh man! All right, Ben. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for all the wisdom, all of the critiques. I promise everyone I will do better next time. I think Ben officially liked Chris's mod more than mine.
No, they're both great.
They're both good.
I'm just joking. But Ben, thank you so much. And we will talk soon. We have to do more streams, bro.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I'm always down for it, man. But it's like, I do want to visit you again. Just to hang out and talk shop.
Come on down. Come on, Chris. What did you say before? It's only flights are cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap and fast.
Absolutely.
Ben, you're welcome to come down anytime, bro. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it for having me and just giving me insight on what you created. Because I know the effort it takes to design something new.
Thanks, bro. I can't wait to see what you create with it.
Sweet, dude. It's gonna be sick, man. Get ready.
All right,
All right, guys. I'll see ya.
Awesome. All right. That was, man, Ben's so great.
He's cool, dude. He's a really good dude.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for stopping by, saying hi. Thank you for chatting with us, checking out the builds. I'm going to be making more content with this PC, and then I'm going to be changing it up, doing some different stuff. Chris, I know that you have some stuff coming out with this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be changing this up a little bit too.
Okay.
I put myself on a little bit of a time hurdle to get this done. So I'm pleased with it, super happy with it, but I think I could do a little bit more, and I want to do some custom stuff with the panel there with the blank space.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to come back, and we're gonna have to see what you do with it.
Yeah, anytime you want to have me, man.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Before you go, you can find out more information about Calypso on our Discord, discord.gg/Yulebeast, or go to the website, yulebeaststore.com. And the Calypso product page is live. You still can't pre-order it, but it is live. So you can at least go and check it out there. So thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much, bro.
Of course, man.
And guys, I'll see you next time.